Hi, Jan here again, and welcome back to my channel for this week's bargains I got at a boot sale to resell on eBay. Or more and more I'm noticing I'm buying things to keep rather than to resell, which is kind of going back to my roots. You know, I've been an avid boot sale fan for, well, since they first started really, but I've noticed over recent months I'm buying more and more things actually for me than I was going to list on eBay, because I'm not actually listing a lot at the moment. I've got all this other stuff going on indoors and my head's full of because my head's half empty anyway, having only half a brain, so the bit that I've got left is full up with other thoughts at the moment. So my first bargain this week was, you can see it just on the sofa beside me. I've been looking out for one for the last couple of years, and I often see them walk past at boot sales with other people having bought them, but never found one in a good enough condition that I wanted to buy it myself. You know, the ones that I've seen over the last couple of years have tended to be a little bit grubby and not quite nice, which when you're hanging clean laundry on, you want it nice. And this is actually a really nice one. It's got the plastic covered wooden poles there. It's just a good old-fashioned wooden clothes horse. I mean, my mum always had one. I used to have one years ago, but then it moved out at some point. When you have adult kids and they move out, you tend to just give them things that they need, thinking, oh well, I don't need that anymore. But I'm sorry, Echo's banging on the doors now. Oh no, it's Chester banging on the door, but I'll have to wait for now. Hold on, Chester, I'll let you out when I'm finished, because I keep thinking this is going to be a short video because I haven't got very much, but then I tend to talk so much that it goes into two parts. But Chester. So anyway, I picked up the clothes horse, which sell for, the wooden ones sell for about 40 odd quid, brand new now, and I got that one for £1, which I was really pleased about. And even more pleased about it was the fact that when I bought it, I had my walker, I'd paid the lady, and I'm trying to organise myself, and it was slightly muddy underfoot, and it's a very slight incline, so I'm trying not to let my walker run away and all this sort of thing, and hook the clothes horse over my arm, which was a bit big and bulky and heavy. And I hadn't even realised until a man next to me said, excuse me, you just dropped your purse. I hadn't even noticed, and I had quite a lot of money in there. So thank you so much. If you're watching this, whoever you are, thank you so much. I really appreciate you telling me that. But anyway, I bought it, I put the purse back in my handbag, and I was able to contact Neil on the walkie-talkie and say, can you come and put this in your trolley because I can't carry it. So we've got the clothes horse, which I'm going to pop on the table. So if she wants to, Echo can come up next to me. Are you coming up, Echo? And then I also, that was Saturday boot sale, also managed to pick this up. It's a apple wedger, stainless steel by Pampered Chef. And these are about 20 odd quid, I think, from this brand, brand new. It's got a thing on the back to what's it for, to keep your sharp bits from cutting anything else, I suppose. And I've seen them reselling on eBay for quite a lot. Oh sorry, I've got a naughty puppy behind me now. Sort of £15 to £20 I've seen them. I wouldn't pay £15 to £20 for one. And I've seen this on the same store for weeks, week after week, but I hadn't picked it up because I thought, well, you know, I only actually deal with cooking apples probably once a year. You know, I get them in bulk and then I do a whole batch and put them in the freezer. But thought this time, no, if I don't get it now, I'm going to regret it. So asked how much it was, 50p. Lovely, thank you very much. So that's 50p one. Then again on Saturday, I always like to have toothbrushes in the cupboard, just spare ones. you never know when you're going to get a surprise overnight guest, or something's going to happen, somebody's going to go into hospital and you suddenly need a new toothbrush. Because I don't know about you, I would never want an old toothbrush to arrive at a hospital. Well, certainly not one of Neil's or other family members, because they tend to get, as soon as mine start to look a bit tatty, I chuck them and use a new one, although I mainly use an electric one. But other people don't, and some of their toothbrushes are really rubbish. But anyway, I like to keep some spares in the cupboard, and these were 50p each. So I picked up a handful of 50p toothbrushes. So that was it for Saturday. Sunday was the indoor one at the Ardingly South of England Showground. Well, it's not indoor, they're kind of livestock sheds, so they're big and well, I suppose they are indoor. They've got a roof and they've got sides, they've got a sand floor because it's for livestock in there, but it's in the shelter, so even though it was pouring with rain, we were able to go. And I don't know what Alexa was going on about then, but she said something. I didn't even make out what she said. I noticed this because I used to have this exact same clock. And clocks are always useful to have, especially, like I say, my son's moving into his new house any minute. Useful things to have. She wanted 50p, so I thought, well, I'll take that one and just hope that it's working. But I think it's rather a smart one. If not, it'll go in the bathroom or something. So that's my 50p clock. I noticed this on a table, and I've learned, going to Bootsale for reselling, if you see a little pouch, always look in it, because you just never know what kind of bargain it is. This one, I don't know if you can read that, and I've noticed watching my films back that I show things to the camera, and then because I can't see from here whether it's clear enough on there for you to see it, but it's a Canon pouch, so I hope that you were able to see that. And I took it out, and it's a flash unit, goes on the shoe at the top of the camera. Little battery operated flash unit. It's a 309L speed light. Asked him how much he wanted. He said make me an offer, so I said £1. He thought about it for a second and then said yeah, so bought it for £1. Since then Neil's looked up the comps on it, and it's selling at around about 14, 15, so that was quite a nice little spot for if and when I do get round to listing it on eBay. Nice little camera flash then. And most cameras these days, even phones, all come with a built-in flash, so you don't have to worry about an external one. But people do still buy the old cameras. And if they're buying the old camera, then they might just very well need a separate flash unit. So you never know. I might get a decent sale out of that. I noticed this little, it's quite a small paperweight, and it's got the look of a Caithness about it. In fact, when Neil first saw it, he said, oh, is that Caithness? But frankly, I don't know. As I picked it up in the shed, what should I call the building? Sorry, my brain is just addled this morning. The building that the Bootsale was in, it's not really a cattle shed because they must have other, well, I suppose they do put cattle in there, I don't know. The agricultural shed that the Bootsale was in, I always turn them upside down and just move them about in the light to see if you can see anything engraved on the bottom, because sometimes you can't see it until the light catches it at the right angle. And I could see that there was writing, but I couldn't make out what the writing said until I got home. And the writing says, what does it say? It says moon, is it moon crystal? Hang on, I've turned it round now. I've got to catch it in the right light. Moon crystal. Now Caithness do moon crystal paperweights, but this one only says moon crystal. It doesn't say Caithness or Scotland on the bottom. But I wondered if it's because it's smaller, the actual flat area that they engrave on, maybe it's just not big enough to put all of that on. I haven't a clue, but it was nice enough, pretty enough little paperweight in kind of dark purples and whites. And I paid £3 for that, so it's quite a lot of money for an unbranded one, but I liked it. So £3 for the paperweight. When I do a roast dinner, let me turn this over so I can show you properly. Oh, put the lid in and it's that's it, got to turn it over to get the lid out. When I do a roast, I like to use a roaster in the oven, just as an enamelled metal lidded thing, because they do help to keep your oven itself clean. The roaster heats up to obviously the temperature of the oven, so it's still, your thing's still brown inside if you want to get the crispy coating on it or whatever. And I have almost identical to this, but without my bigger size one has these handles on the top and bottom part, doesn't have this on the lid. And my bigger one is big enough to put a whole leg of lamb in. But if you want to do a small chicken or a piece of beef or something like that, a smaller one would be better. And these ones can be very, very expensive. And this looks so much like the one that I already have. I can't help but think it's probably the same make. Mine is a John Lewis one. It doesn't say anything on it, but I know it was from John Lewis. And this one was £2, had a sign on it saying £2. I flipped it over and the bottom of it didn't look in that great a condition. But I thought, well, it's the outside. If I give it a good scrub, it will be fine. But when I got it home, I haven't washed it yet. I actually realised it was the sand from the floor, from the ground that it had been stood on, and it's actually in perfectly good condition. You know, I mean, it needs a good wash because it's just been, well, it's been somebody else's. So I'll give it a damn good clean. But £2, so I'm pleased with that. Also, because I've got a big double oven range cooker, it does mean that if I wanted to do something in each oven at the same time, I've got the means to do that. I had been thinking, when I tidied out these cupboards the other day, I threw out my Wellingtons, which I don't use often, but I do use. And where they'd got folded over and something had pressed up against them, the side of it had split at the crease where it had gone over sideways. So the foot of it was okay, but it was manky and done. So I thought, well, I need to get myself some new Wellingtons or boots of some kind, but I kind of wanted some that were a bit warmer than the ones that I had. And I spied these. These are a snow boot, a lady's snow boot. Got a lovely thick tread, and they have been worn, but there's no wear on the foot, as it were. I suppose if they've been worn in the snow, you wouldn't really get much wearing down. They are by Groundwork, and they've got the expandable front with a zip up that does up like that, and then inside all the way through to the toes you've got this fleecy material, and wow, they're perfect, exactly what I was looking for. picked them up thinking, well, it's too good to be true. They won't be my size, but actually they were. They were exactly my size. How much are these? £3. Thank you very much. That would do me nicely. They're kind of the shoe part of it is rubber. Can't quite read what it says on it, but no, I can't read what the label says, but the shoe part's rubber. The top part is kind of synthetic leather-like material, and then you've got a faux fur inside. But they're not very expensive new. I think I looked them up last night. They're about 30 quid new, so not hugely expensive, but I'd rather pay 3 than 30 any day of the week, so I got those for me. Then it's been a good few weeks since I've picked up any figurines. The one that I saw a couple of weeks ago was a Yadro dog. Can't remember the name of the breed, but she wanted £20 for it, and it was kind of, I allow myself £10 a week, and although I hadn't bought one for a couple of weeks, within my rules I could have pushed the envelope and got it. But I play a game with myself where if I see something and want it but it's more than I want to pay, then I'll say no thank you and walk on. And then later on, if I can find the stall again and it's still there, that's when I buy it at the price that they ask. So I didn't get the dog, and I'm quite pleased, because although had I bought it I would have kept it because it was Yadro rather than Neo, but that one didn't actually have a good resale value. I can't remember exactly how much they were, but if I had wanted to sell it on at any particular time, it wouldn't have got a good price on it. So yesterday I saw this one. It's a Neo boy with a stack of books. He's in a nightgown with a stack of books. He's in lovely condition. It's got the Neo marking on the bottom, and the price label, if I can, oh, I can't get it off, but the price label on it was £7.50, and that's well within my budget for a piece of Neo. And when I pick these up at Bootsale now, I spend quite a long time just running over everything with my fingertips, because before now I've picked things up and haven't noticed that they've got a slight chip, but if you go over it with your fingertips, you'll feel it before you see it in certain lights. But this one's in lovely condition, so I'm very pleased with that. Another bit to my collection. Don't quite know how it's going to fit in the cabinet, but it will. So I'm just wrapping it and laying it on the table, just in case one of the dogs knocks the table and knocks it over. So if it's laying down, it won't fall from there. So that one's good. Then I saw one of these or something similar, doorstop. It's actually really heavy in this kind of corduroy material. I think it was early last year, and I didn't get it. That lady had wanted £10 for it, and I didn't get it at the time because Echo was a puppy, and I thought it's not going to be long before a doorstop turns into a raggy in this house. But I wanted one for my room, and the dogs aren't actually allowed upstairs, so I thought if I see another one then I'll get it. And this was the first time I've seen another one since then. And the lady who was selling this had several different shapes and designs. There was this teddy, a smaller teddy, there was a bunny rabbit one, an elephant, all sorts of different ones. And she was selling them for £3. So I thought, absolute bargain. In fact, I did go back later on with Neil thinking, should I buy a second one? Because then if I want a second one, or if I want to give it as a gift or whatever. And then I thought, no, it's just clutter. There comes a point when if you buy more than you need, it's just clutter. and I'm trying to move away from that. It's still got its ticket on it. These sell new at about £16. So I thought £3 a real bargain. But little story with this one is, when I was buying it, I was aware there was a film crew there, proper film crew, and I made a point of not actually looking at them while I was buying it because I didn't want to draw attention to me. So I just thought, well, you get on with whatever you're doing and I'll just be buying this over here. Bought it, popped it in my basket, carried on walking, and a man came running up to me with a wallet full of papers, and he said, would you mind signing a disclaimer? So they obviously had been filming me, otherwise they wouldn't need me to sign. So I said, sure, yeah, no problem. And they were actually filming for BBC. It's Stacey Solomon's. I'm not sure if it's Sort Your Life Out or Sort Your House Out or Sort Something Out. It's where they go into a family who live in a house like mine that's just full of clutter, and they help them to get rid of all the stuff that they don't need and pare it right down to a livable amount again. So that won't be apparently shown on TV until next year sometimes, but it means I'm going to have to watch them all next year as soon as it's back on TV, so I can see if it was me and wonder if they caught my good side. Probably not, but never mind. And that's really it for the haul. Yeah, I think I've shown you. We're end of Bootsale season now. You know, the big outdoor ones are pretty much finished for the season. Billy at Faygate is going to try and carry on as long as he can, so it's week by week he's making a decision. This Saturday, or Saturday just gone, he couldn't even make the decision the night before because it was pouring with rain, but he just said, check the Facebook page first thing in the morning, and if it's on. And it was, so I managed to get my clothes sourced and bits. But the other thing that I was going to mention, only because I've got a whole list of jobs that I need to do today, and on my list today, because I want to put my electric blanket on ready for the cold weather, I wanted to flip my mattress, and that in itself is an enormous job and not something I can do on my own. I have to have help to do it because my bed, or my mattress in particular, is one of the best things that I've ever bought from eBay. We had stayed at a very, very posh hotel one time, had the best night's sleep I've ever had in my life, and pulled all the sheets back to see the make on the mattress before we left, and it was vice springs. So I always thought one day I'm going to get one of those, but they are horrendously expensive. So first port of call is always, well, see if somebody's selling one second hand on eBay. And eventually my bed came up. It was beautifully made and photographed. The bed and the headboard were being sold together. It was some 1960s type headboard that the guy had said was worth a lot of money, but I didn't want the headboard, I just wanted the bed. But he'd taken the photographs of the bed made, so you couldn't see the bed at all. It was just a view of what the bed would look like when you put sheets and blankets on it. And then in the write-up, he'd said that it was his mother's bed and she died. And the way that he'd written it, it kind of read as though she died in the bed. And the auction was starting at £25 and I won it for £25. But the story when we went to pick it up was that his mother had bought it brand new, paid thousands for it, and had gone to sit on the edge of the bed to put some things in a chest of drawers that was... But as she'd gone to sit, she missed the bed, fell on the floor, broke her hip, and the poor lady was taken into the hospital and never came home again. She died in the hospital. But my bed had only actually been used by this one old lady for about 6 weeks before she'd had this accident. And when we went to pick it up, you could still smell that it was a new bed. You know, new beds have that Beds and carpets have that smell that says this is brand new on it, and that's how it smelt. But when I got it home, it actually took 4 men to carry just the mattress upstairs. It is such a... The mattress alone weighs about 9 stone. But I bless that lady every single night for choosing such a wonderful bed. I've had it for... I think I've had it for about 12 years now. I think my mum was still alive when I got it. And every single night I have such a wonderful night's sleep in that bed, and I am so, so grateful that she chose such a good bed. And also so grateful for her son, who'd attempted to sell it on eBay, but had, you know, bank error in my favour that time. You know, he'd just not made a good job of listing, and because of that I got an absolutely the best bargain ever, because as I say, these beds are thousands and thousands and thousands. Eventually I wanted to put it on a metal bedstead. I wanted to put the mattress onto a metal bedstead instead of the divan base that came with it, which I did. And the metal bedstead I got from a guy down in Cornwall, Fred the Bed, and they were two. I bought a matching pair so that if Neil and I ever share a bedroom again, we can have separate matching beds in the same room. We've both got a 4'6" bed, but we have separate rooms because he snores. And I got the last two, and they were Rely On bedsteads, sold through Marks and Spencer. So they had the Marks and Spencer branding, but they were Rely On bedsteads. And again, they were really expensive, but I picked them up for I think 250 each. So the bedsteads themselves cost me a bit, but I still got them really, really cheap. And then I had the spare divan bottom from the Vice Spring bed that cost me £25. So I listed that, and I think I sold that for, because we're talking years ago now, I think I sold it for either 50 or 75 just for the base. So I made a profit out of the bed that I bought, and as I say, it's been the most wonderful, wonderful thing. So very, very happy with that, and just thought I'd throw it into the end of the video just because it's something that I've got to do later, and if I've got something to talk about, it's supposed to be my vlog and talk about whatever I want. I was thinking about doing Vlogtober, but 31 days, am I disciplined enough to do a video every day for 31 days? And do I have enough to waffle on about? I think maybe I do. There are quite a few videos that I've got on a list of things that I want to make for you, but just haven't got round to yet. And if you've got any questions for me, if there are any videos that you want to see me do, or if you have any, you know, we could always do a Q&A if you're interested. But for this particular video, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notifications of next time I upload something, which could be anything from probably not so many Bootsale hauls now because we're end of season, but you never know what I'm going to get up to. Okay, take care. Lots of love. Bye.